Morning.
Not in personnel. Well, you can come in for me to say we now exclude the public and press.
Public questions
take about
first.
2 minutes.
Right, okay, that'll do.
Not much point in coming in, so there's just...
No. Well, they're entitled
They're entitled to come in, they are indeed.
They will be excluded.
We are going to exclude them almost immediately.
Yes, one of the things that is required is sharing.
Wasn't anybody there. Oh, right, okay, right, yeah.
So
that's, yeah.
Still need to do it.
Yeah, okay. Thought I made a comment. Maybe not.
It wasn't, it just wasn't reflected in the minutes.
Oh, okay, right. I think it didn't tell. That's what who got. Oh, Richard's not here yet, is he? No. No, he's coming. Was Steve on this?
Oh, goodness, sorry. Yeah.
It's all right, I'm going to get to apologies, that's fine.
fine.
And of course, William's resigned, so.
Does anybody know what's happened to Ian Williams? I've heard he'd moved house.
He's gone to live in Wales permanently.
Right. Do we know where, and should we send him a card?
I probably do, somewhere in the filing cabinet at the back. But I can't just, at the drop of a hat, recall where it is, I'm sorry. I just know it's Wales. Just get Richard a couple of minutes.
Still needs to do it.
Yeah. I mean, it's on the tape, I didn't. I think that was my comment. So, yeah, okay. So,
Well, the minutes will be superseded anything else.
yeah. Well, I didn't specifically, that was my statement, so it was quite good. Oh, carried.
It's not I'll send it.
Yes, yes, indeed. It's unusual.
This request came
It's fine, it's fine. Oh, yes, it is. Is there a smaller one?
I remember the last time I got on it was solid ice. And by the end of the meeting,
Thank you.
just so enough of those.
The seat, however, I think has failed.
Yes. Good evening, members. Welcome to this evening's meeting of the Personnel Committee. Can I thank you very much for coming out at this time on a Friday evening, and thanks very much to Mark for agreeing to start this meeting at 5 o'clock on a Friday evening. We will attempt to get through this as quickly as we can. However, item 1 is exclusion of the public and press. So determine which items of the Personnel Committee meeting should be considered with the exclusion of public and press. I believe that the public should be excluded from the whole of the meeting. Is everyone in agreement with that?
Sorry to
Yes,
slightly
thank you, Mark.
quickly, Chair. I think items 2 and 3 can be public matters, but the rest are,
Okay. Well,
as you say, are excluded.
excluding 2 and 3 can be members of the public, excluding after that it's 4 onwards. Thank you. Are there any apologies for absence?
Apologies for the late notice of this apology, but Councillor Crane can't be with us here, but Councillor Crane.
Are there any other apologies?
Not.
Is Councillor Flavel on this committee?
Yes.
I think she sent her apologies. Catherine Flavel.
Oh, Catherine has sent her apologies. Thank you, Sam. She has, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, yes. And are there any declarations of interest?
Obviously, if the declaration related to a confidential item, then we would do it under exclusion.
Yes.
Sorry to complicate matters a bit.
That's fine, thank you. We have the minutes of the previous meeting,
Sorry, Chair.
Sorry, Chair.
Just formally move and second.
oh, I'm sorry, yes, can we, sorry,
We just need the councillor to move the exclusion and second.
oh, right, sorry,
So,
moved and seconded, thank you very much. Sorry.
We're
So,
voting.
yes, yes, thank you.
Thank
Sorry.
you very much.
Oh, apologies for that. We didn't have any declarations of interest. Thank you. So item 4 is the minutes of the previous meeting.
Sorry, Chair. Shouldn't we exclude members of the press and public
I
now?
thought I'd just done that.
Yeah, but non-members of the committee aren't supposed to be.
Are you not on this committee?
I'm here as an elected member under the Local Government Act 74 and the Localism Act 2011 as an observer councillor who's elected to this council.
Right.
Councillor David Jack.
My understanding is that there is a resolution at the council
That I cannot attend as a committee member. I'm not a member of the committee, but under the Local Government Act 74 and the Localism Act 2011, I am by statutory law prescribed to be allowed to observe any council meeting, business or committee.
Well, it's a matter for the chair and the committee, in actual fact.
Members of the committee, does anyone care to say anything on this matter?
Well, if you're not a member of this committee, you shouldn't be sitting in it.
Thank you, Richard. Sam?
I would like to move that David Jack be asked to leave because we've had several breaches of confidentiality. We've had confidentiality to discuss.
Can we have a correction of fact there? There are no...
Excuse me,
Sorry, could I have a
please don't
correction?
interrupt when someone is
Can I have a
speaking.
correction, please?
And I think we should be allowed to discuss them knowing that they're going to be kept confidential, and therefore I'd ask that David has proposed that David Jack be asked to leave.
Thank you. Right.
Yeah, I support that entirely because the whole reason the resolution was passed because of concerns over
Confidentiality. Thank you. Is everyone in agreement with that proposal, members? Thank you.
Then I
Sorry.
refuse to be removed unless the police remove me, which is my statutory right to attend a meeting as an observer. There has been no standards decision upheld for a breach of confidence, as Councillor Corcoran keeps saying. He is misleading council. It is my statutory right by law to observe any council business. If you wish to remove me, then it must be under legal precedent.
David, you must realise that we do need to hold a personnel meeting. We are really letting our staff down if we do not discuss personnel matters this evening. You are hindering that, as you do many things. Would you please leave the meeting?
As I say, a statutory point of law, I have a right to observe.
Right.
once again, we are in dire need to move some personal meeting. Although I was called a liar today, I am actually on holiday. 3 times this week I've come in and cancelled plans to hold these meetings to make sure our duty care to us that we all should be aware by now goes above our own personal interest. And this is where I find myself. I'm certainly unprepared to go on a meeting.
So am I.
Your standing orders are very clear on how to deal with this. You must adjourn the meeting and recall it if I refuse to leave.
Oh, we
But
know
then
the
you'll
rules.
attend that meeting, David, so...
Well then, perhaps you should recognise what the statutory law is before you start passing these
Do
edicts.
recognise it,
You
there
don't.
are, I am advised that there are...
Misadvised on wrong information with no evidence yet again by this council members.
Under our standing orders, I believe that the chair of this meeting has asked Councillor Jack to leave.
I have.
And you have actually asked him to stop interrupting. He's continued to interrupt, and therefore under our standing orders, I move that he be excluded from this meeting for disruptive behaviour. This, once proposed and seconded, this should be voted on without debate.
I'm happy to second that, you're proposing it.
And the continuation of your standing orders states that if I refuse to leave, you have to close the meeting.
Thank you. Will you please leave the meeting, David?
No. Played the game too long, 18 months of pressing in the
mute.
mute.
Staff and tell them
Yep.
we value them so little, we've had to adjourn this meeting. When people have given up their time on a Friday evening, you clearly have no regard whatsoever for our staff.
I have no regard for lies and mistruths sent against me. And that includes some staff that have been involved in this.
This evening, we are here to discuss staff matters when everyone has given up their time on a Friday evening. Now, will you please leave?
No.
Oh, we just have to adjourn the meeting then.
Absolutely.
I am very reluctant to adjourn the meeting because it means putting off really urgent staff matters yet again.
I find it impossible to read that matter section,
So, yes, I agree. I feel the same.
which is a disappointment because it's a large part.
It is a disappointment because many of us have given up a lot of time recently to try and do appraisals and various other things to get the staff motivated and to allow them to have their increments. And I find this just quite deplorable. I'm sorry. You won't be able to get through, Richard. It's Friday night.
Madam Chair, can we adjourn to a different place?
No, because your calling notice will then be invalid.
Anywhere else. Unless we go down to the boardroom, which I guess we could.
I do notice that it does say on the agenda of the meeting to be held on Friday the 30th of July at 5 p.m. in the ballroom, Sandwich Town Hall.
Yeah, we've
Well, the
got a
ballroom
wedding.
is ready for a wedding.
And I appreciate we might have to be very careful while down there.
There isn't anything set up. Unless we're prepared to take the chairs down and bring them back after. Can we get into the boardroom?
No, boardroom.
I don't know of any other, I mean, we could go into the ballroom, but there's no furniture or anything.
I'll just follow you down there. Don't worry.
Chair, could you,
Yes.
my advice is that you suspend the meeting.
Yes, cool.
Thank you.
Can I just recommend that I pass on the staff matters to the clerk and that any areas that need delegating, well, should be, we could hold a vote on that, the delegating to the clerk.
We could, we may need to discuss that.
So therefore,
Can I just ask the clerk, if we suspend the meeting, sorry, through you, Chair.
It's all right.
If we suspend the meeting, we are in part 2. When we rehold the meeting, that would presumably be just the members of the committee who would be notified of that.
And any elected member under the Local Government Act 74 and the Localism Act 2011 has a right to
That's
observe.
not necessarily the case. There
It
are
is the
various-
case.
There are various
How about get out or get you out?
to access
Go on then.
to information.
Can we have some
That would be an
quiet
assault.
while Mr. Bailey speaks? Thank you.
There are various exemptions in terms of access to information that are covered by either of the acts that you mentioned.
And just to clarify that,
But you're also in contempt of the council because they've made a resolution to remove you
Yes.
From the committee.
from this meeting.
Well, removing me from this meeting as an observer, as an elected member, breaches the statutory requirements of the legislation.
You have no
Well, we shall see.
right.
We shall see. We shall see.
Right to remain in this meeting.
We shall see. Because I will push it as far as legally I have to, because the games for the last 18 months that I have been doing.
I have no idea about that because I've not haven't been involved in.
And you should learn the statutory law as well. If you're going to clerk,
I have no I'll do PhD law, but we call that this happening.
yeah,
I have
okay.
no information regarding previous things that have happened. What I know is that I've witnessed this committee making a resolution to remove you from this room, and the chair can now take reasonable steps to remove you from the room. Understand?
I shall let the people of Sandbach know how democracy works in this town and the contempt for statutory law and the blatant lies constantly told by people like Stephen Corcoran and Geraint Price-Jones, who have done nothing but smear campaigns and have used staff to facilitate that, to tell lies and untruths. So I shall leave you to it now because I've recorded everything and that will be published to social media. So thanks for breaking the law, and I shall see you all